Okay, the final kingdom. I gotta win this to keep it even. Fortunately, I will be player 2. What's going on? For draw, there's Siren and Hunter and the Litter. Litter is the only village. Gondola is like a emergency village. For trashing, you get Remake and Monastery. Plus buy? There's no plus buy. Remake can gain things. Huh. So I don't think there's a way to get around Siren's trashing effect here. Right? There's no ungain stuff that would fiddle with it that I can see. So if you want Sirens, you gotta get them the natural way, via human sacrifice. What about Tunnel? Is there a way to trigger Tunnel here? If your hunter reveals 2 victory cards, you could elect to discard the Tunnel. There's no way to make sure that happens. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to reliably trigger Tunnel here. Bit of a lackluster kingdom, I think. So it seems like you want to get up to 8 money in short order and start buying a single province, because you can't do more than that in your buy phase. There's some ability to remodel stuff into duchies late in the game. I think I probably... What if I do want a pair of Sirens? I'm not sure about that. I don't think the cursing attack hurts that bad with Remake around. Curses do kind of mess with Hunter a little bit. I mean, it's not nothing. The biggest upside to Siren is its draw. And like Hunter is alright draw, Litter is draw at a cost. I wouldn't mind just drawing 3 cards at the start of my turn, every turn. I think it's probably worth going out of the way to get Siren. The biggest reason not to get Siren is it's 2 gains for 1 card. You gotta gain a scheme or something to that effect, and then trash it to Siren to get the Siren, and gains are fairly limited here. I think it's worth getting a pair of Sirens probably, and then your deck is gonna be like 2 Sirens, some combination of Hunter and Litter, a Remake, and some treasures. Okay, so how to open. Yuri takes Star Chart. I think Star Chart looks good here. It comes with 2 free points off of Baths. I'm not sure you need it in the opening. I'm going to buy a scheme. I think the other buy is Remake. And Star Chart Remake just gives you a guarantee your Remake's not going to bottom deck, but that's not super significant. It's just avoiding a 1 in 11 chance of a bad draw. I think I'd rather add 2 good things to my shuffle and then buy Star Chart at a later date. I could get punished here if Remake ends up being the very bottom card of my deck. One upside of Scheme is if you collide it with Remake, you could trash an estate into a Siren, trash the Scheme, and then get the Siren into your deck early. Which is not going to happen for me here, unfortunately, but that was the dream. Alright, it's just a little bit too far down. Take another Scheme, try just a bunch of schemes. And I think Monastery is probably better than nothing. If Monastery just trashes like a copper and then gets remade, I think that's an improvement. Because I do proactively, I think, want to gain silvers if possible. Oh! I get to scheme my remake. I kind of forgot Scheme had an on play effect. I wasn't really gaining it for that purpose. I think I'm just going to trash 2 coppers here. I can trash the estate on a future turn, and I'll get Bath's points now. Trashing estate over copper wouldn't have gotten me to a meaningful price point anyway. I don't want a second monastery. I do need to get to Star Chart at some point. It is on the agenda. I don't need it. It's not that important, but I would like it. Specifically, I like it on a turn where I'm otherwise not gaining anything for the 2 extra points. Winning the Bath split is not that important, but in this kingdom, 2 points could matter maybe a little bit. So I've trashed 2 coppers and 2 estates, I believe. I was wondering if I was at any risk of running out of coppers, but I don't think so. His hand's a tad awkward. So you can trash 2 coppers again and take 2 points. You can trash copper estate and trash the last copper. Probably better, right? Maybe I should have top decked the remake. I'm not sure I even want to play the remake this turn. I need to get to buying things. I don't want to turn the remake into a siren. Maybe I could. Maybe I could turn the remake into a siren and then regain the remake later. Okay. Well, with this draw, I probably am trashing 2 and just buying another 3 cost. Is that so? Maybe that's not so. So I could buy Siren, trashing the remake. I think I'd rather just buy a swap here, and then I'll see about swapping into the remake. Sorry, into the Siren. Like if I draw the swap and the remake, for example, I can gain a Siren mid-turn. Yuri's already got 2 Sirens. Let's play one more of these and see what I draw. Hmm. Wish I had that silver in hand. It's like I could swap Scheme into Siren, trash remake, play the Siren. I'm hitting 2 though, and 2 is just not a great number here. The bottom 2 cards I believe are copper, silver. I could just swap the remake into like a hunter or something. I draw exactly 5 money. That's not too significant either. I think I'm gonna take a Siren, trash a Scheme, buy a second Monastery so I can trash these coppers. And then I think I'm just going to probably swap back into a remake this turn. I won't get the Siren in play, but then I can trash those 2 monasteries into something more valuable. Or maybe trash 1 monastery and use the other one to clean up some of these curses. With the power of hindsight, I feel like I probably should have just added 1 more silver to my deck a little bit sooner. Like one of those schemes being a silver, I feel like would have made these turns go a little bit better than they have. So I can take my second Siren now if I want it. Remake a monastery into a Siren and trash this scheme. Argument against that is I don't need 2 Sirens on my deck next turn. I can just hold off on doing that. Pretty sure I just want to trash Curse Monastery, and then I buy something or other, and then the other monastery trashes the copper and the other curse. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play this game. Gain me a silver. I think I might just not be getting Star Chart this game. I want to guarantee I play this Siren, and then that's probably basically what I'm accomplishing with this turn. Also, I could buy the Siren this turn and just like trash the remake now, or I could buy something or other and swap into the Siren next turn. Don't think that makes a whole world of difference. For sure, want to be playing a Siren next turn. I think that's the only thing that's clear here. Oh, this could be a good turn to get Star Chart, maybe. What if I just play the Siren by Star Chart for 2 points? Then next turn I swap a Scheme into a Siren, trash the remake, play the other Siren, go from there. Honestly, the Star Chart might basically just be the 2 points. With a pair of Sirens in the deck, I'm not really in need of the top decking effect very much. Maybe later in the game, the ability to top deck something comes up again. But I'm tunnel visioning a little bit on the Star Chart. Is it at all practical to activate tunnel here ever? I think I'm thinking about it again because I said the word tunnel. But like the ability to gain free treasures here would be pretty monumental just because there's otherwise such limited gains. Absolutely the only way to discard tunnel here is Hunter. And that's only if Hunter reveals the tunnel alongside a second victory card. That's just such a niche situation. I was thinking maybe something with Star Chart can line it up. Like you trash a monastery, gain a tunnel, and then play Hunter from your hand. Maybe I could line that up at some stage. I'll have to keep that on the brain. Like, if I get a Hunter into my deck and a village, I play a litter, I play a remake, I trash monastery and a 4 cost into like tunnel duchy. I play the hunter, I pitch the tunnel, I gain a free gold off of it, then I remake the tunnel into something else if it's outlived its utility. All right, star chart, top deck, swap. So if I wanted to activate the tunnel, I would need to still have the monastery on my deck. I don't mind keeping the monastery around for a minute because it is trashing these curses as they come in. I would need to add a litter. I would need to add a hunter. All of that is, I mean, conceivable. Those are cards I wouldn't hate to have in the deck anyway. Where do we stand on deck quality? I think I'm ahead here, right? We both have two sirens and swap. Yuri's got a litter and I don't. Uh, well, actually, no. I don't have two sirens. I intend to gain my second siren this turn, and I will have two sirens. Which means I will have to regain my remake. Yeah, I'm not that ahead. I have more silvers. He has more coppers. Silvers obviously better here. I think I'm slightly ahead. Not sure about that. The choice of which one to return and which one to trash for siren basically doesn't matter. I went with return the scheme because the scheme pile was lower. I think I don't want the game to end quickly. I'm not sure why I think that, but that was my intuition. And what am I buying now? How many turns away am I from activating a tunnel? If I just really set my mind to it. So the setup requires that I have a litter, a hunter, and a remake in the deck. Might be a few turns away from that still. I really don't want to swap the siren out into anything. Like I could even see potentially uh like not playing siren for a turn if I could like swap the siren out into the litter and make it happen a turn sooner. But the downside of swapping out siren is swap back into siren, you have to trash another card, and that's a huge sacrifice here. Riri has two swaps, which is a lot of swaps, but like at some point you could always swap a swap with something else, or remodel or remake it rather into a gold. Yes, my deck is pretty much entirely thin. The problem is just it's going to be slow to scale up. I think I'm going to swap the hunter into a litter. Probably should have just bought the litter from the get-go. I think of the three cards I want to acquire, litter, hunter, remake, probably the one that makes most sense to gain last is the hunter, because litter plus remake could potentially do something for me in the right scenario. Uh, where like maybe I want to play remake next turn and turn these silvers into gondolas. Probably do in fact. Whereas hunter is just drawing me cards, which I don't really need at the moment. Okay, so let's say I play my litter, I play my remake, I trash two silvers into two gondolas. I draw one of those gondolas off of my swap. I will have one silver and one gondola in hand. I will have one debt, pay off the debt, buy a scheme, I trash a curse. Then next turn, I can swap that scheme into a hunter. And then I can play my litter. I can play my remake. I can trash one of the gondolas. I can trash one of the monasteries. I can play my hunter, and I will gain a gold. All according to plan. He might be buying province a turn faster than I am. I could see him buying province next turn, whereas I think my line is not getting to province that quickly. Uh, yeah, he's thin now. I will have more stuff in my deck, so I think threatening to remodel more things into duchies later on if I get behind on provinces, and that makes it probably worth it. Okay, so the order was litter, remake into gondola. Go ahead and draw that. Don't want to top deck the second gondola. Swap. Uh, and then one more silver. Does it make any sense to turn the silver into a remake instead of a gondola. The upside would be I could swap it into something. But I believe I'm just going to buy a scheme and swap that. I think I prefer the gondola. Sure, I can play the siren that way. Be fancy about it. Buy a scheme, trash the purse. Top deck my litter. Okay, this turn, it's all going to come together. I guess is Uri just plans to buy Province from here on out. He does have some capacity to remake into duchies as well. He could swap the schemes into additional remakes and then trash those as needed. Yeah, he took Province, makes sense. So I gotta swap the scheme into Hunter first, then play the litter, take a tunnel, and a duchy. Pick up the duchy. Okay, that was entirely worth it. I will not hear otherwise. And now what do I want? Second tunnel is worth points immediately. Maybe gets me a second gold off of the hunter if I get lucky. Scheme can be swapped into something. A silver. I might just want the silver, right? I've got 7 money in the deck right now. How hard is it to get an 8th coin mid-turn after remake into something? Hmm. Tunnel. Top deck hunter and pray to reveal 2 victory cards. I'm ahead in points despite not having a province yet. You're taking those duchies already, makes sense. Look at that! I did it! Okay. So let's play the litter, I presume. So I've got 10 money if I play the gondola now. Is there anything I want to remake? I have to have all the treasure in my hand to get to province. I definitely want to buy a province here. For example, I'd really like to turn the silver into a gondola if possible, because gondola can be remade straight into duchy later on in the game. But if I trash the silver into a gondola, what else am I trashing? I could trash silver into gondola, play swap, draw the gondola, then I'd have to trash a tunnel, I guess? Get that back out of my deck, which might be fine. I think that makes sense. Nope, swap. So if I trashed gondola now, I would only have 7 money after paying off debt, which is just not enough, so the tunnel's gotta die. But I can live with that. The big problem I'm facing is if we keep up on provincing, I'm set to lose the province split 5-3. I'm not sure if I'll be able to overcome that with enough duchies, especially because Yuri's already got 2 of the duchies. I'm hoping, his deck is like just barely drawing, and he's only got exactly the 3 golds. So yeah, he probably can't afford to add any more duchies, right? He's just turned his remake into a hunter. So I think his plan is just hit province every turn. So if I buy a province that takes me to 2 notes, I'd have to gain 2 more duchies, and then I'm competitive on points. And like I can gain 2 duchies, but it's remodeling or remaking 2 gondolas. The trouble is if I trash both of the gondolas, I'm going to be low on money. So I need to get 1 more gold here somehow. It's that bottom card. 6 points. 9 points, 11. All my points are accounted for. It's the litter. That's what it is. If I have enough money in my deck, that if I draw everything, I'm threatening to remake 2 gondolas into 2 duchies and buy a province. I happen to bottom deck one of my 2 draw cards in this turn. So I think for now I just swap the remake into a hunter. I can swap it back out later, but that lets me draw a gondola and play one of them for next turn. I don't think I want to play both of them for next turn, right? Because I want to have 2 gondolas on my deck to remake if needed. So I think I leave one. Oops. I didn't want to end turn. I don't know why I clicked that. Call the Void was speaking to me. I'll top deck the litter. Oh wait, no, this doesn't work out the way I want it to. It might be worse than I was letting on. In my head, I guess I was thinking that like I was buying like the odd numbered province. So like if I bought that third to last province and it was 21 to 26, and then Yuri buys the second to last province, and then on my turn I buy province and gain 2 duchies, I would win. The trouble I'm facing here is the provinces are counting down opposite of the way I want them to. If I take 2 duchies in a province here, Yuri beats that with one more province. So I take 3 duchies here. I think that's probably not enough points anyway. We'll have to see. Yeah, I think it doesn't quite work out. It was all worth it. Do I need to draw that gold? Yes, I do, right? No, I don't. I didn't need to draw the gold at all. I was thinking I needed to hit 8 here, but I think I'm just buying duchy. So maybe I should undo that choice and leave the gold on top of my deck. Let's see. Rewind to top deck the gold. I think I'm just taking 3 duchies here. So I think this is something of a threat. Now, if he takes the penultimate province, I have to be able to buy a province and remodel a gondola. I keep saying remodel, remake a gondola into a duchy. And so the second to last province is not safe for Yuri. That being said, these decks are just really hanging on by a thread, and I think it'd be entirely reasonable for him to buy the province and expect me not to hit like the exact draws I need to hit to make that possible. I also should not rule out maybe there's a scenario where he manages to remake into a duchy. He doesn't have his remake anymore. He does have those swaps. He doesn't have any gondolas in his deck. Does he have 2 swaps still? There's 3 swaps in the trash. No, he only has 1 swap. Even if he had 2 swaps, he could swap into a remake, swap into a remake, and then remake a remake. I don't think he has enough action cards to be able to do all that. Obviously, he could neglect to play Siren on his last turn. But I think probably 9 points from Yuri is not a realistic goal here. I should keep in mind that on my last turn, I can swap that Siren out into another remake and then remake that. So yeah, like my ideal turn here could score, I think, 12 points. There's like play 3 golds, buy a province, swap an action card into a remake, and gondola into 2 duchies. The trouble is I've got 11 cards left in my deck. I don't have that much draw. Just got the 1 siren, maybe the 1 hunter. Can probably afford to play that, and 1 litter. So I see at most 8 cards, 9 cards, because my swap's a cantrip. Yes, I'm for sure not seeing 2 of my cards. Hopefully, they're not important cards. I think that's good news for me, right? I believe Yuri just has exactly the 3 golds and no silvers. He has to draw that gold to even get to province. Is that a problem if he just takes 1 duchy here? Yeah, I haven't even really considered the scenario where Yuri doesn't buy province. What if he just buys a duchy? What do I do in response to that? It's actually a lot harder for me to get tunnels than it is for me to get duchies. If you bought a tunnel, that'd be totally fine. I could remake into 2 duchies and buy a tunnel or something. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to do in response to this. I mean, I could play for a dud. Erie has to find all three golds to hit Province. He's probably top decked his Hunter, though. He sees 5 cards plus 3 cards. The odds are, I think, better than 50-50 that Erie hits 8 next turn. He'll see these 5 cards. For the most part, the top 3 cards of this deck, although there could be 2 golds on top again. He could find his litter and play it. Let's see what I draw. Okay. Surely playing the litter. Did not find my swap. It's a minor nuisance. What happens if I take Duchy and Tunnel? That sounds likely to lead to a tie, right? So if I take Duchy Province, that's basically equivalent to just buying Province, right? Duchy Province wins if Yuri misses Province and I hit Province. Just Province wins if Yuri misses Province and I hit Province. So there'd be no reason to do Duchy Province, I don't think. I could just take a Province, like I could play the Siren, not play the remake, play 3 golds, and just delay the Gondola for next turn and buy a Province. That puts me in a position where I'm quite likely to hit Province next turn, and I'm just praying that Yuri misses, which might be my best bet. The other option I think would be play the Siren, remake the Gondola into a Duchy, crash the gold into just nothing, and then buy a Tunnel. And then I've got 35 points. We're tied. And if Yuri buys the penultimate province, I can buy the last province and win. Or not win, I could tie. Problem is, I'm trashing a gold. Can't trash any of the victory cards, because I kind of need those. Bottom 3 cards are a swap, and what else? I got 26 points to account for. 30 minus the 4 victory points. I'm looking at 12, 18, 20. Do I have one more province, or do I have 4 duchies? I feel like I got 4 duchies, right? Yeah, I have to have at least 3 duchies. So I have to have 4 duchies, because I took 3 last turn. So I think my bottom 2 cards are swapping 2 duchies. Yeah, so like if I trash Gondola Gold, how am I getting to 8 next turn? That doesn't sound like a thing that's going to happen. I have to mid-turn gain a gold and draw back around to it. That's not happening. I could trash Gondola Siren and gain a Gondola off of the Siren. That's more likely to hit 8 than the thing I was suggesting a second ago. That line does not leave me with a Siren in play, and I've got 2 junk cards and a cantrip top deck. That's not that likely to hit 8 either. There's a chance. Does it make any sense to just take Bath's points? No, I can't take Bath points because then Yuri takes the last duchy and then I'm up a creek. I think Yuri's chances of winning, or of hitting 8 next turn, are better than 50-50, right? He's got a Siren in play. He's got a Hunter top decked. At least I'm pretty sure he has a Hunter. Yeah, he's got a Hunter. So he's going to see most of his cards. He's got to find all 3 golds to hit 8. He sees 3 cards, 6 cards. Does he have a litter still? I think he has a litter still, right? I think it's possible that Yuri sees every card in his deck, right? If he plays Hunter Litter Swap, that's 6 cards there, plus the Siren is bringing you to 9 cards, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's actually not that likely that Yuri misses 8. Like, it happened last turn because he hit 2 golds off of the Hunter, and that's one way it can occur. Was it last turn? Whatever it was. Yeah, last turn. But, like, I can't really count on that. I think I'm going for the tie then. Crashing the Siren just so severely reduces my chances of hitting 8. But it's this or trash a gold. You could trash the gold, play the Siren, plan to just like buy a second tunnel next turn and maybe regain a gold somehow off of the Hunter. I'll have multiple tunnels on my deck. And then hope that Yuri misses Province the next turn rather than this turn. Eh, I think I'm just doing this. So it looks like Yuri would have hit. Oh, he will hit 8, I guess I should say. He would have won if I did the other thing. He might still win. He could have taken a tunnel. There's an odd number of tunnels left, so if we go tunnel, 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 he would win. But then we could also go into Bats points. Like you'd always just pass your turn for 2 points as well. So that's it's a few more turns. And then I think maybe he's just worried his deck would crap out and I would grab the last province at some point. Okay. I just have to find one more gold for the tie. So I'd take a hunter here, and that'll do it. And I get an extra gold, and that's what matters. Ooh, that was a tricky one.